President Ahmed Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment in fighting Nigeria's insecurity. He stated this while delivering a keynote address during the inaugural international lecture organized by the News Agency of Nigeria in Abuja. Edikan Michael has the report.
President Bola Tinubu, represented by his National Security Advisor Malam Ribadu, says the security has improved over the short stay of President Tinubu in office.
This is just the beginning. Sit down and wait and see what is going to happen. Nigeria will be, inshallah, protected. Nigeria will be fixed. Nigeria will be better. It's time for us to turn on the page. And we are going to do it.
Mr. Ribadu compared insecurity at the past with an increased improvement under his watch, stressing that the present administration is determined to combat insecurity, bedeviling some parts of the country.
But I'm here to tell you that Mr. President loves his people. Mr. President cares for Nigerians. Mr. President will never allow pain and hurt Nigerians. He will not. He will work hard to serve you. You will not regret electing him as your president. I can assure you of that. Every single moment. Nothing more important to do than Nigeria and Nigerians.
Speaking as the lecture's chairman, Nigeria's former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired, enumerated factors fueling crisis in the Sahel region to include poverty, unemployment, climate change, among others. He advised that Nigeria's capacity in fighting the menace shouldn't be diminished.
These factors have self-neglected, created a fertile ground for insecurity to thrive, with devastating impacts on our dear nation. We must not, however, lose faith in our capacity to ride above the storms of insecurity, since this challenge is the business of each and every Nigerian, and indeed all Africans.
In his address of welcome, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, insists that security is every Nigeria's business, while assuring that Tinubu's administration holds it a duty to create a safer nation.
The violence in the Sahel, therefore, is not an isolated issue, and no single country can tackle it alone. Therefore, Nigeria has stepped up its engagement with its neighbors and other regional and international partners. It's strengthening joint military operations such as the multinational joint task force, and also supporting initiatives that aim to stabilize the Sahel region.
The inaugural lecture, which also had goodwill messages from security chiefs, governors, ministers, and foreign ambassadors, is part of the national effort to unravel public discourse on the deliberating challenges of terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and militancy, among others, in the country. Edikan Michael for Global TV News.
Bola Tinubu may bar revenue-generating agencies from collecting revenues on behalf of the federal government, as he plans to introduce a single-agency Nigeria Revenue Service to handle the task. This came as the federal government instituted a comprehensive set of fresh tax reforms aimed at significantly boosting revenue collection. The reforms designed to enhance the efficiency of collecting direct taxes along with various levies that are imposed on behalf of the government will bar the Nigerian Customs Service, Nigerian Ports Authority, and 60 other revenue collection agencies from participating in revenue collection activities, but will lead to the creation of the Nigerian Revenue Service. The Inter-Party Advisory Council, also called IPAC, has condemned alleged plans by some interest groups and politicians to truncate the upcoming Rivers State local government election, urging that the nation's democracy should be jealously guided. Anthony Momodu now reports. The council's chairman, Yusuf Dantale, stated that it was time Nigeria did away with the era of caretaker committees overseeing local government affairs.
The era of caretaker committee to administer the affairs of local government in Nigeria is over. With the recent Supreme Court landmark judgment, which granted financial autonomy to them, it must be noted that it is a Supreme Court judgment that has now accelerated the conduct of local government elections across the country, which some misguided politicians want to abort for personal aggrandizement. This will not happen under our watch.
Dantale called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and all stakeholders to ensure that the local government polls are not sabotaged, charging electorates in Rivers State to come out en masse to be part of the upcoming electoral exercise to ensure a free, fair, and credible elections.
IPAC also urges political parties to actively participate in the elections and enjoin eligible voters to turn out in mass and vote for candidates of their choices. IPAC also demands free, fair, credible, peaceful, inclusive elections. IPAC urges the judiciary to be guided by the Constitution, rule of law, national interest to avoid truncating the nation's democracy.
Social Democratic and Zenith Labour Party chairman Shehu Musa Gabam and Danny Wayanwu stated that disregard for the rule of law and abuse of power of incumbency have had adverse impact on the nation's electoral process.
As SDP, we have sued 6 states local government elections. The process were not followed. So I'm here to discuss issues of judicial recklessness in creating this provision, not to endorse any state governor that do not comply with the law.
Judiciary should help us save this democracy. They should help us. They should not be looking towards those with deep pockets. That is what we are seeing today.
The council sued for a multi-stakeholder collaboration to ensure successful local government polls across the country. Anthony Momodu reporting for Global TV News. State Governor Hope Uzodinma has charged Edo State Governor-elect Monday Okpebholo to ensure he fulfills his campaign promises to the people. Here is Amarachi Ibe's report.
This is the first time the Edo State Governor-elect Okpebholo Monday is visiting Imo State Government House after the All Progressive Congress APC won the election of September 21, 2024 in Edo State. The aim of the visit is to thank Governor Hope Uzodinma for the brotherly role he played during the election, as well as invite him for his inauguration that will take place in November 12, 2024. In his response, the governor...
By the grace of God, 12th of November is very in. We know that you will be there to perform the role of a father, which you are to the progressive governors.
In his response, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, expressed gratitude for the visit and reminded him to fulfill his campaign promises to the people of Edo State.
To do those things you promised during the campaign, to give Edo State a new look, to bring prosperity to Edo and development, and to justify the confidence reposed on you by the leaders of our party in Edo State and members of our party in Edo State, and indeed the entire Edo indigenes.
Dignitaries present during the visit are Edo State Deputy Governor-elect Dennis Idahosa, Senator Adams Oshomole, and the All Progressive Congress Edo State Chairman. Hopefully, this visit of Edo State Governor-elect Monday Okpebholo to Governor Hope Uzodinma will bring a closer ties to the people of Imo State and Edo State. From Government House Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
The Economic Community of West African State Heads of State and Government are planning to institute a 5,000-man kinetic force to tackle terrorism in the region. This is as the regional bloc disclosed that 1,605 terror attacks had been recorded between January and August 2024 in West Africa, with a total of 6,959 fatalities. The president of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Toure, disclosed this in Abuja, giving the breakdown of the figure. Toure, who was represented by the Program Officer of Regional Security Division, Department of Political Affairs, Peace and Security, ECOWAS Commission, Isaac Armstrong, said Burkina Faso accounted for 611 attacks and 3,810 fatalities. Mali recorded 546 attacks with 1,424 fatalities, while Nigeria recorded 238 attacks with 905 fatalities. Niger had 153 attacks with 676 fatalities, while Benin Republic had 44 attacks with 66 fatalities, and Togo with 13 attacks with 75 fatalities. The Kano State 2024 School Enrollment Drive Campaign Committee met with the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, ahead of the launch of the enrollment drive in Kano. Briefing the Emir at his palace, the State Commissioner for Education, Alhaji Umar Duguwa, disclosed that the arrangement had been completed to launch the enrollment drive campaign across the state. Duguwa says the committee was at the Emir's palace to seek support towards sensitizing the public to the importance of sending their children to school. A Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja barred a former governor of Taraba State, Darius Ishaku, from traveling out of the country pending the conclusion of his ongoing 27 billion naira fraud trial. Justice Silvanus Orji imposed the travel restriction as part of the conditions attached to the bail granted to the ex-governor alongside his co-defendant, Bello Yero. The judge granted Ishaku 150 million naira bail with two sureties in like sum. He says both sureties must be residents in Abuja, while one must be a director in the federal government's employment. Governor Muhammadu Inuwayaya of Gombe State has set up a high-level negotiation team to engage with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Association of Academic Technologists, all of Gombe State University. A statement by the secretary to the state government, Professor Ibrahim Abubakar Njodi, revealed that the team will be chaired by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Merinasa Daniel Jatu. He also said the committee, comprising other key government officials, has been tasked with negotiating the demands put forward by the unions and resolving them through dialogue to ensure the stability of academic activities at the JSU. You're watching the Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When the Midday News returns, Naira gains as dollar supply surges by 147.66%. Details of these and more after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of Midday News. Thank you for staying with us. Oil prices stabilized Friday after soaring on fears about the Middle East crisis as investors await Israel's response to Iran's missile attack, while shares in Hong Kong resumed their rally on a mixed day for equity and markets. Speculation about Israel's response to the scores of missiles fired at it has stoked a concern that the region could erupt into a wider conflict that incorporates Iran. Crude has risen around 10% since the launch, owing to fears of a hit to supplies, while China's recent drive to reignite its vast economy has the potential to cause a surge in demand. As the rising price of cooking gas continues eating deep into the people's earnings, many residents in Kano are switching to using wood and charcoal to prepare their meals. In this special report, Global Television correspondent Idris Jibril takes a look at the implications of the price increase on Kano residents and its impact on the environment.
It's been 10 years since Muhammad Yakubu switched from firewood and charcoal to cooking gas to prepare his meals. He says it's faster, easier, and healthier. But with the higher prices eating deep into his earning, he's wondering if that is a wise move. Honestly, right now, I'm thinking of switching to using wood and charcoal because the continuous increase in the price of cooking gas is disturbing me. The rising cost of gas for cooking has pushed many in Kano to resort to using wood and charcoal. Here at the local charcoal market in Kano, new consignments arrived. Business is booming. And I can tell you that in a day, we used to have like 500 bags, from 400, 300 to 500 bags of charcoal. To make those 500 bags, dozens of trees must have been cut down, effectively reversing gains made in protecting trees in a country where over 10 million are cut down every year. From different parts of the country, we used to bring this wood and people are buying because cooking gas is very expensive. Experts say cooking gas rose by 60% in 2020, exceeding 1 million metric tons. Sales grew further within the last 2 years, but then slowed down due to reduction in supply. The country now has to import gas at a higher prices.
The continuous price increases has to do with the continuous price increase of the product itself, and then you're having an increase in the cost of transport too.
Although expert believes that increasing people's use of cooking gas will save millions of trees and the environment. But the high cost of liquefied petroleum gas will make that harder to achieve, especially when millions of trees are cut down daily to produce wood as much as this. From Kano, Idris Jibril reporting for Global Television.
The Nigerian Naira saw a slight recovery as dollar supply in the official market surged significantly, according to data from the FMDQ, based on daily trades on the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. The Naira appreciated by 0.60%, closing at 1,659 Naira 26 kobo per US dollar, compared to 1,669 Naira 15 kobo on October 2nd, 2024. This follows a significant depreciation the previous day, when the Naira closed at 1,669 Naira 15 kobo, marking an 8.25% drop from 1,541 Naira, the rate recorded on the last trading day of September. In a bid to enhance agricultural productivity and promote sustainable practices, stakeholders in Bauchi State have advocated for the widespread adoption of organic fertilizer. This call was made at the lecture organized by the Agricultural Stakeholders Interactive Forum in Bauchi State, which was organized to educate farmers and other stakeholders on the benefits of organic farming. It was reported that the forum, which also aimed at focusing on the production and use of organic fertilizers, quoted the chairman of the forum, Rafiuzu Yohana, as emphasizing the importance of utilizing materials readily available in the environment to produce organic fertilizers. The federal government has announced the distribution of 150,000 Naira to small business owners in the southeast state of Enugu. This is contained in a statement by the spokesperson of the Vice President Kashim Shettima, Stanley Wokocha, following Shettima's visit to the MS MSME Fashion Hub in the state. Speaking during the launch of the 5th expanded national MSME clinic in the coal city, the vice president noted that the 150,000 naira, which is an outright grant that has no requirement for repayment, reflects the commitment of the Tinubu administration to nurturing MSMEs and fostering economic growth in the country. The Lagos State government has announced that it will fully enforce the ban on the styrofoam food containers and single-use plastics by January 2025. The moratorium on SUPs, extended until the end of 2024, will soon expire, paving the way for full implementation. This decision aims to mitigate the harmful effects of plastic waste on both the environment and public health. African oil-producing nations planning to launch a $5 billion energy bank next year in Abuja have already secured 45% of the required startup capital. The bank aims to address the funding gap created by traditional investors shifting their focus from crude oil to low-carbon energy. According to Omar Farouk Ibrahim, Secretary General of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, Angola, Nigeria, and Ghana are among the initial backers, with the funds raised even before the bank's legal establishment. And moving to the foreign scene, India's government has asked the country's top court not to toughen criminal penalties against marital rape during an ongoing case brought by campaigners seeking to outlaw it. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government enacted an overhauled code in July, which retains that clause despite the decade-long court's challenge by activists seeking to make marital rape illegal. India's Interior Ministry filed an affidavit to the Supreme Court stating that while marital rape should result in penal consequences, the legal system should treat it more leniently than rape committed outside of marriage. Lebanon said an Israeli strike cut off the main international route to Syria after Israel said Hezbollah was transporting weapons through the tiny Mediterranean country's principal land border crossing. The strike, which Israel has not commented on, comes after 310,000 people, mostly Syrians, have in recent days fled the war pitting Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon for relatively safety in neighboring Syria. It follows an intense night of bombardment of Hezbollah's main bastion in the southern suburbs of Beirut, with the U.S. news site saying Israel targeted the militant group's potential successor just a week after it killed its leader, Hassan Nasrallah. The escalating assault by Israel comes as it weighs retaliation for the Hezbollah backer Iran's missile attack. And jumping into the exciting water sport, the under-17 women national team, the Flamingos, arrived at their campsite in Santo Domingo City in the Dominican Republic for the 2-week intensive camping exercise ahead of the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup finals held from 16 to November 3rd in the country. Flamingos are lodged in Group A alongside host country Dominican Republic, Ecuador, New Zealand, whom they face in their opening game on October 16 at the Estadio Cibao Santiago. The Flamingos have been to every edition of the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, missing only the 2018 edition. Two Nigerian pugilists, Sikiru Shogbenson and Mary Aino Abe, are poised to represent the country in separate fights overseas. On October 19, Shogbenson will make his international debut against Belgium's Francisco Pereira in a lightweight clash at the Hall Omnisport de la Presqu'île in a league in Belgium. Shugbensin comes into the fight following a draw in his last outing against Aziz Latif in an 8-rounder super featherweight contest at the Total Destruction event held at the National Institute for Sport, Lagos State in July. That's it on Midday News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276 and free to air on Nikon Sat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Anthony Momodu. Thanks for watching.